All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at BKFC 32 in the headliner, and that goes on November the 5th. We've got a clash going down with Reggie Barnett Jr. and Geane Herrera, and always good getting to talk to Reggie before big fights like this. How's your day going so far, man? Seems like you're putting in that work, as always.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
It's been a good day. I went to church this morning, got some things done around the house this afternoon. And I got open gym later. A bunch of people then called me and asked to come.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, and it seems like just a great time in the career in general. Just the last fight seemed like a big capstone moment for you, getting that, bantamweight title, the interim gold there at BKFC Fight Night Tampa too. Like, what did that moment represent to you? Was that like a real capstone moment in your career? Can you kind of describe the feelings associated with that?
Yes, a culmination of all the hard work and adversity that I have overcome to get to that point, and not giving up on my dream, and always going back no matter what happened, if I came up short, how I felt about it. Just continuing to work even in the tough areas.
Yeah, and obviously you have the belt there, but from like different promotional material I've seen for the fight, it doesn't seem like the interim gold is on the line. Can you offer some insights into maybe what's going on with that? Because it seems like Johnny Bedford is maybe looking to come back there, but he could maybe even fight for like a featherweight kind of title. Like, what's the, I guess, status of your championship there?
I guess we'll find out on the 5th. That's what Dave said. No. But as far as I'm concerned, and I always put it out there, there is no actual champion at 130. There's only been belt holders. I'm a belt holder. Johnny's a belt holder. Dat was a belt holder and still claims he's the champion. But nobody has successfully defended the title. That's what I wanted. And no disrespect to Herrera. He wants to fight me. I initially wanted to do the fight at 125. I thought we were going to fight at 125 so I could make my 125 debut. And as we all know, the tournament is pushed back again. So they said Herrera didn't want to fight at 125. Did I still want to fight? Y'all know me. I don't turn down no fight. But there was a agreement, and between me and Dave Feldman as far as what would happen, after I went out and performed on it. And so it gives me a little more boost, a little more we talked about plans of what I wanted to do in this sport. And win a world title, yet. Defend it successfully, not yet, but also bring bare knuckle home. And as we all know, bare knuckle is legal and can be sanctioned in Virginia. So that's what I'm trying to do. Bring bare knuckle home. And Gene's kind of in the way of that. I'm going to go and prove why I'm still one of the best fighters in the league, despite whether it's 125, 135. I even asked my manager, could I go to 145? She told me I'm free.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the 125-pound title. It seems like you've been targeting that for a little bit now, and you mentioned it keeps getting pushed back. Like, as far as what you're privy to, like, why does it keep getting postponed? Because, I mean, that would seem like a great fit for you. Like, not that you're, like, an undersized bantamweight, but I could see you, like, making a smart cut to, like, 125 and, like, it being a big legacy move. And also, I guess from your vantage point, why has this, tournament been, like, postponed so many times?
Well, first of all, I appreciate, the compliment, but I am an undersized bantamweight. I mean, I was boxing in the 120. I had to put on size to continuously fight in the 130, competitive against guys that are generally bigger than me. But I can fight at 125. I've been wanting to make the move. Remember, I'm an OG. When we started this, there was no 125-pound weight class, but that's where I would have fought. But really just building the talent pool at 125. And they had a show a couple months ago. Don't quote me on which one it was. And they had a bunch of 125 pound. So Dave's trying to build the pool of 125-pound fighters to do a tournament. But I kind of feel like I shouldn't have to fight in a tournament. That's why I wanted to fight Geane at 125. If he wants to fight me, that would be a great debut fight for me at 125. That's where you fought before, and then move forward. Whoever wins the tournament, that's who I fight for the 125-pound strap. And in the meantime, I don't really care what Johnny or Dat do. When it's time for me to defend whatever part of the belt, title, whatever I have, I will. And that's just the mindset. Right now, I'm just focused on the task at hand on the 5th, and also, just trying to continue to do the work that I've been doing, in my community. It's a big part of all of it.
Yeah, that's always been a big thing for you, just like representing your community and stuff like that. And you kind of like touched on some, gloved boxing accolades a bit ago there. I thought it was cool seeing like relatively recently on the Instagram that you were, cemented as the franchise champion and everything, the USBU and everything like that, the featherweight champ for life. What did that moment mean for you? It seemed like you were shouting out Mr. Jeremy Watts and just seemed excited.
When they pulled that belt out, a part of me felt, a little undeserving, but I teared up a little bit. It meant a lot. Because me and Jeremy, I don't just work for him as far as a fighter within that, sanctioning body, but we're good friends. And, the people, the other people are to the sanctioning body. They said, well, Reggie, you're sitting on this title. You're over here fighting bare knuckle. Are you going to come back, or we're going to have to strip you? And, I could step down willingly. And I was like, well, I don't care. I'll step down if I have to, because I don't know if I'm coming back to boxing after the Marzone fight. That was a tough loss, and I was like, well. And Jeremy goes, well, you know what, Reggie? If you continue to fight right now, he said, stay active. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. He said, but stay active, and represent for us here in that sport. He says, then we won't pick you. But if you come back to boxing, the next fight you fight in boxing, you have to put up the fund sanctioning fee for it and defend it. And that was the agreement we had. And I was like, ooh. And then everything kind of took off and happened in bare knuckle. And he was like, no, don't come back. Don't come back. He's like, stay over there. You got it. So when they pulled out that promotional lifetime belt, it was an honor for him. Like, it shows his true support in the people, that support him, support me, and just what I was doing and what I accomplished in the sport.
Yeah, I love to hear that, just the gratitude and everything. And you talk about feeling like you didn't deserve it. I think that just speaks to you being a humble guy. I mean, you definitely put in that work. But you were talking about something earlier I thought was interesting, just like the, Virginia, bare knuckle boxing kind of scene and stuff like that. You've always struck me as like a very community-minded kind of guy. Like, would something like that almost like exist beyond individual accomplishment in your career? Just like, say, headlining a show in Virginia and really showing out for all the locals and stuff like that?
Yes, that is the goal. Show them, even in the hard areas, the good times, the bad times, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, if you truly, truly work for it. You know what I mean? That's what it's really about. And bringing it home. Forget a title, get a championship and all that, but really bringing it home for the kids to see, the ones that know where I came from, what I went through, the things that I overcame, the things that I continue to overcome, because life is life. And push through the adversity, get up and go and grind on the hard days. We have open gym every Sunday. And it's funny, last Sunday, a bunch of people asked me where was I having it? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm in camp. And nobody showed up. And I got there, and I sat there for like 10 minutes, and I said, I got work to do. And I got to work. And then my dad showed up, of course, my coach. And he came in, he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm working. I was like, you late, so I got to work. And then Miss Nikki Booker showed up, and I was like, hey, Nikki, it's nice to see you. That I just came to check on you, little girl, and give you some encouragement, but I see you already grinding. And, we did a little cameo and she left. And then my seafood Rob from JKD showed up. And he's like, hey, man, you want to work on some things, do the video? I was like, you know what, Rob? That sounds good. So it's like this Sunday, I've had so many people call me and ask, was I have an open gym? We'll see who shows up. But it's okay. Because I know the people who have seen the work that I put in, they truly support me. And to bring it home and show that, and I would absolutely sell out a freaking venue here by myself. Absolutely. You know, and I told Dave that there's no way that you put on a show anywhere in the Hampton Roads area now.
Yeah, well, you're one of the more like... Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And it's not like being egocentrical or, you know, grandiose or anything. It's just knowing the people here who support me and them letting the other people that live here know what I did and what I've accomplished and doing that. They're going to come watch. The world watches me fight anyway. What I love to do, to perform it. To do it at home, top level.
Yeah, I mean... No need to be sorry. I appreciate the insights there. I just felt like there was a bit of a lull there. I felt bad cutting you off. Definitely not something I'm trying to do. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the ability to headline a show in that area. I mean, you're headlining this show, so definitely if you're the localized guy for a Virginia card, I could see that, you know, being something you'd be at the top of the marquee of. But you mentioned like the different times of, you know, being in the gym with your dad. Like, how much does it mean to you to, like, you know, have your son in the gym now and see him kind of going through those formative kind of moments?
It's a good and a bad thing. I love having him with me. He is an absolute gym rat like his dad, and he loves training, and he is like a little fighter / coach in one, you know, because I wear both hats. And if I'm not training up to his standard, he'll let me know. And then there's times when he just wants to work on things, which is awesome. But the toughest part is because he is, you know, still young, is differentiating, you know, when it is and isn't time to fight. Because he wants to fight all the time. But yeah. He thinks it's kind of, you know, a game at sometimes, and you know, I just don't want him to turn into a bully, you know, because I was bullied all my life. And I knew how to fight, I just didn't want to fight anybody. So it's almost like the martial arts code of honor. It's okay to know how to fight, and it's okay to use your skill. But one, we don't use it to show off, and then two, we don't use it to intimidate or hurt others. And he's still so young that I wish, you know, it's going to take some time. Of course, I know he'll grow into it all. It's a matter of how I teach him. Right? And it's a challenge for me as a father, and I'm up for any challenge. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think with time, he'll realize that, like, martial arts kind of ethos of the whole thing as well. But just, you know, in talking about this upcoming opponent here, I mean, you definitely have like significant like bare knuckle experience over him. I mean, he had the Abdiel Velasquez fight. I guess like one of the things I'm wondering about with this fight, 'cause it's been a bit over a year since he last competed, is it difficult to maybe game plan for an opponent like that who's been relatively inactive, or are you just kind of focusing on what you're doing to be adaptable when it goes down?
We know that Herrera is a dog. He will fight. And we know that he's really, really strong for his time. But we focus on what my strengths and my weaknesses are. We improve our strength and, you know, we fix our weaknesses. That's really what it is. I've never truly, I think the only fight I've truly game planned for was the second Johnny Bedford fight. Well, no, that's not true. The top fight I didn't. So, that's a lot. But really, at this point, after my last performance, if you put the Thompson and the Grant fight next to each other, you know, even though they look so similar, they're night and day between a boxer and an actual bare-knuckle fighter. I truly believe that I'm almost to the point of what Bobby Gunn wanted me to be as far as my skill and my technicality, my tactics and its application. The best bare knuckle, not boxers, but fighters, technically, in the entire sport. There's nobody who is touching my level in that aspect. Are there great guys out there, people who are incredible fighters? Absolutely. You know, and I always be tease him with Luis Palomino, but I'm coming for his number one pound for pound. I love him to death. He is a great bare knuckle, but as far as his complete, grip on the sport in itself, he's missing a few tools, not in any disrespectful way, but you can see his continuous growth within the sport, like mine. And so that's what it is. I am that, and as long as I continue to improve on that, then I don't see anybody beating.
Yeah, and you talk about like pound for pound, like that must have been a kind of cool thing to see that you're now kind of ranked within that, pound for pound sort of hierarchy. I mean, it does make sense, like having a belt and the depth of experience you had. Is that something you put a certain level of stock in, just being in a pound for pound rankings hierarchy like that, or maybe not so much?
No, not really. Somebody told me, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm working still, and I'm accomplishing what I wanted to do in this sport, and I have to keep working toward the goal, which was, to be that representation, that light that people have always been for me. And I do that by having an absolute performance there at home. So whatever it takes, whoever I have to beat, however many people I have, help me keep getting better. The more I fight, the more I learn. The more I learn, the better I get educated in. It's not just about going out there and fighting. I am learning within this sport. I am evolving this sport. I am the bare knuckle alpha. I will take what some other fighter did and another fighter, mix it together, and make it work within the bare knuckle realm.
Yeah, and I love that you're like imparting some of the knowledge to other people, like just with like the Educated Hands University and the site and everything like that. Like that seems like something you enjoy even doing at the gym in person. Like how cool is it to have just those different components, like the online teaching and then teaching in person? It seems like something you very much get a lot of fulfillment from.
Oh, I love teaching. I absolutely love teaching fighting, and that's what I'm going to do when I'm done beating people up. Not just fighting, but, life skills, and martial arts, and boxing, all of that goes hand in hand. So, and that's how we really improve and change lives. That's what improved and changed my life. Fighting saved my life, bare knuckle changed. I always say that. So I'm going to use that to help try to change others. I love teaching, but sometimes, I got to take off that teaching hat when it's grind time and focus on my fight. And my students know that. So I tell them, you can either get in camp with me and keep up, or you can stay in, our regular sessions and our regular classes. It's up to them. And I have a few students who have been in my last couple of camps who are grind with me and see them get better in their amateur boxing. So, and I always tell people that I'm not fastest, strongest, none of that. But I am almost always one of the smartest. And I have a set of tools, and as long as you use them and use them to push yourself, then you can't get better at whatever you're trying to do. I'm an example of that. Every day I'm working, even the days I don't work.
Yeah, definitely the work ethic always been there, and the fight IQ, as you said, very prominent for sure. But always good getting to talk to you ahead of these big fights, man. I appreciate the time for sure, but being mindful of your schedule. Is there
I was like, it's Dylan Bowker. I talk to him all the time. I was like, we chop it up all the time. I'm big excited about it. So thank you so much. And I appreciate you taking the time. I am dialed in. I have a few more things to work on as far as sharpness, but other than that, I wasn't really off before they called me to take the next fight. I didn't want to get out of, rhythm, when we get strong.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that, man. It's always great getting to talk to you for sure, so I appreciate you saying that. And this is going to be a cool fight at BKFC 32 on November 5th against Geane Herrera, which I'm very much excited for. But yeah, again, to reiterate, thanks so much for making a bit of time, man, and you enjoy the rest of your day too.
Hey, man, definitely have a great afternoon. November 5th, don't miss it. Check out my Instagram, _easy.